spawning in the top right hand corner here on Jagannatha. Playing for KaiZ Gaming is the blue Terran player. It is time. And his opponent here in the bottom left hand corner instead, rocking the red color. It's a freak of freaks. Very own Protoss player makes a noise for Trap. Alright. PVT it is, guys. My favorite matchup. And such a perfectionist matchup as well. So many things can go wrong if just a little mistake happens from any of those two players. Really an intense matchup. And one of the best way to ascertain the overall skill of the player, because so many different array of skills are needed in this matchup in all stages of the game. It's gonna be a Marine opener on the side of time, just to start adding up more units as fast as possible, maybe dropping down a bunker to have some defenses at the ready. Meanwhile, Trap probably gonna see a very usual Bling Stalkers play. It looks like just a 1-1-1 on the side of time. Not going to be a Cyclone, very defensive opener. Probably just gonna be some Widowmine drop of some kind. In a mob such as Jagannatha, with such a long rush distance, you don't really need the Cyclone for defense. It is Widowmines. And it is probably going to be a drop after the 1-1-1 opener. Bunker gonna be full to stop any kind of weird play. Oh, yeah, okay, right on time. I can stay away from the word time. Right on time, lift up his teapot. Oh yeah, that makes its way through into the main base. Gonna scout that starport going up, and I'm not sure if he manages to see that it worked right into a Widowmine. But I think he's probably going to expect this kind of play happening. And he's going to be ready with pylons spread at the corners of his main. And a bunch of Stalkers spread as well. With the third base going up, a little bit on the early side, I'd say, for Trap. Alright, it's a full Marine drop instead. This one little probe wasn't quite able to see that, I fear. And the Stalkers are instead trying to get into the main to avoid any kind of Widowmine drop from happening. Meanwhile, time is gonna hit right here at the third. Oh, that is deadly. That is very deadly. That's a lot of Marines, even without Blink. That's so many Marines. And this is probably going to be a cancel. I really doubt this one Stalker can do much. 4 Stalkers is high enough. A Blink is still a long way from being done. I don't think it's going to be a cancel. These Stalkers can easily kite. Yeah, my first guess was wrong. Not going to be a cancel. A little bit of damage on top of the Nexus. Not really enough to make a dent past the shields. So this Nexus is gonna finish at full health, and his shields are just gonna slowly replenish over time. Meanwhile, time trying to establish a little bit of ground over here at his third base. Meanwhile, Warp Prism into the main. The Raven just pops out, but doesn't pop out right on time when he needed. Rex number 1 is going to be stuck for a little while. Meanwhile, a bunch of SCVs are going to fall. That is starting to be very deadly. That one tank is a little bit too exposed. Blinking forward is trapped. On top of that one tank, clutch repair, but isn't clutch enough. The tank falls down as well as 4 SCVs. Beautiful attack by Trap. Gets a lot of damage. Actually, another SCV losing 1 Stalker for all of these. On the other side of the map, the one Widowmine trying to do its best to take some, to deal some punishment to the army of Trap. This one Nexus though is going down. Both players bleeding on so many different fronts. And it's already quite a messy game. Oh my, oh my. Yeah, Time trying to get right on top of the wall of Trap. There is a Raven dropping down 1 auto turret, but the tank is going down. The Immortal barely survives. There is 1 Viking to stop the Warp Prism from getting too forward. Look at his Immortal. It goes down. No, it doesn't. A huge save by Trap. The attack can go on forward by Time. But I feel like this is not going anywhere. Pro's being pulled into the fight. Another Immortal actually falls. The Raven is restoring energy. Finally, the Warp Prism falls at the cost of one of its own Viking. Time replenishing his forces over here at the natural of Trap. There is 2 Immortals right now. The tank is currently sieging up. Marines are low in numbers though. These Stalkers kiting backward, and now the tank is under attack. The Immortal doing its best to survive, and it actually does so. Time sent scattering back home after a clutch defense by Trap, losing his 3rd Nexus. Yes, it did, but there's not much army for Time right now. There is a bunker, there is a tank. He has enough defensive units. He saved his Raven, which is quite clutch, honestly. But Trap has full map control right now. He can drop into the main, he can replenish his forces. He's adding 1 sentry to these as well as a bunch of zealots. Even without charge, he needs some buffer for his army. And more Stalkers are ready to probably drop into the main. Here they are, blinking forward. Here is the follow-up attack by Trap. This 1 turret though destroys the Warp Prism. Warp Prism tries to back off, but gets destroyed with the 4 Stalkers inside of it. Huge catch by Time. And now Trap attacking at the front, getting the bunker, getting the tank. But there's so much army on the side of Time yet. The Immortal falls to these Marauders. Blinking backwards is the rest of the Stalkers. But Time safely in control of this game right now. Defenses with all he has. Such a back and forth game. Thermal lance incoming for the Protoss player. But I feel like Time has stabilized. Right now, he has his 3rd setup. He's gonna match the economy of his opponent in a little bit. And with his explosion in production, with his upgrade, an armory, steam pack, honestly, Time is safely ahead. A bunch of Blink Stalkers are gonna pass. Oh yeah, that is a huge misplay by Time. He's gonna lose so many Stalkers, so many SCVs today. He's gonna try to go for a surround, but there's so much greedy on the other side. Time, that was not a misplay. I'm sorry, my friend. That was a huge surround. And Time gets game number 1 of this series. What a game from start to finish. Such a clutch defense by Trap, but such a messed up aggression on the other side of the map, with Time able to gain back control of the game. So many clutch plays, so many incredible defensive plays, and now he's leading the series 1-0. What to say? I wasn't expecting any less from these 2 awesome players. It's such a collapsing style of gameplay in such a unique matchup. Very eager to see the rest of this series. But Time really played a great game right here and really set himself forward for the rest of the series. Let's see what happens in game number 2 here on Lightshade. It is time for game number 2 of this series. Here, in the top left hand corner of Lightshade, is the blue Terran, who is currently leading the series 1-0. Can he make it to? It is Kaizi Gaming time. And on the other side of the map, in the opposite corner, it's the red Protoss player instead. Wants to tie up the score, bring this forward. Can he do that? Makes a noise for a freaking freaks. Trap. It really looked like a battle of early game micro from these two players, and Time just managed to be the most careful player of the two. Not going to be easy to do that twice in a row, but indeed, Time has showed us that he can make it work against a skill opponent such as Trap. Not much happening here in the early stages of the game. Trap waiting for his adept to come striking at the natural of his opponent. It is a Stargate play, a classic play from Trap on a map such as Lightshade. It's so unique. Oh my, I'm so dumbfounded honestly by this play. Trap, it's an incredible Stargate play, honestly. And Lightshade is a very short map. You can go very south very quickly against the Terran player who actually goes for a drop play. His Reaper is gonna take a lot of scouting information, he's gonna take a probe. Oh, and he's gonna die as well, I think. Yeah. Now that comes right on top of it. While on the other side of the map, another adept tries to sneak past the bunker and get some map control and vision, stopping these command center from being mined from. Meanwhile, an Hellion and more Marines are in the making. Alright, Oracle first out of Trap, establishing some map control himself with the Adepts and Oracle. Going to be a very interesting way to play. Meanwhile, this one Hellion getting run down by the Adept, barely survives with just 2 health from this onslaught, and there is a Cyclone in the making. Oh my, Marines fighting against the Adepts to finally start mining from the natural. Both Adepts are gonna fall, as well as a bunch of Marines, but in the end, Time is gonna take back control of his own natural, and Trap resetting to what he's most accustomed to. A fair base coming right up for the Protoss player, while this Oracle trying to make its way through and maybe deal some damage, or just establishing some map control. He sees there is a Viking, he stops from going too aggressive and saves the Adept as well. That is actually pretty nice for Trap. And he's a Liberator incoming. Where's the Cyclone actually? Yeah, okay, it's back home, ready to defend. Trap cannot really make a dent with his target play. He needs probably to make 4 Phoenixes and then go straight up into robotics facility play. That's the most efficient way to play this kind of strategy. Alright, a 5th Phoenix. Coming right up actually as well as a Twilight Council. It's a little bit of a unique play on the side of Trap. Probably wants Blink to defend this. A Stasis Ward? Oh. Ah, defensive Stasis Ward. Oh yeah, alright. Phoenix is making their way through. There is a Cyclone ready to greet them. But of course these tanks are not really safe with these many Phoenixes flying around. There is a bunker over here in the natural. Very well placed. Beautiful structure positioning by Time. To make sure these Phoenixes cannot get much leverage. They're gonna fly right into the main, trying to take as many SCVs as possible. They're gonna take 2 shots to get one. And they're gonna take a bunch more. The Cyclone ready to drop down a lock-on top of one of the Phoenixes. This Phoenix is very bruised. Phoenix is going down. 4 more gateways in the making for Trap. And that's a lot of probes in a single... Yeah, okay, there was a Liberator over here into the main. Getting 5 kills, actually. Sorry for missing this. On the other side, it seems like Trap ready to go for some damage himself. But the Liberator is actually going down. Oh my. Oh my. The Liberator has been killed. Alright. Phoenix is going down on this side as well. Not able to find any more damage. Both players playing so poorly on aggression and so perfectly on defense. How many Phoenix have died? 3 Phoenixes. That's a lot, considering how low in number he had those. A very aggressive Pylon on this side of the map. He's gonna try to replenish his forces once Trap wants to play more aggressively. But for now, he's gonna be happy with just establishing map control. Oh, Stasis Ward pops off without getting much. And that's a lot of scouting information for Time. For Trap, sorry. Because that's a huge army making its way through the map. Oh well. Soon to be a huge fighting coming. And that's a lot of SCVs pulled into this as well. That's not much on the side of Trap for defense. Alright, tanks sieging up while these poor zealots trying to do their best to make their way past the wall of SCVs. GG gets called instantly. Time at match point. Beautiful timing attack on the side of Time. So eager to see this game number 3. Time playing like a madman. Beautiful game. Beautiful series by him this far. Trap needs 3 in a row. Incredible series this far from the Chinese Terran. And we're going on Death Aura for game number 3. Oh, but this is a difficult scenario for Trap to find himself in. Alright. We're ready to start. Countdown has started. We're getting into game number 3. With the Terran player currently leading 2-0. I mean, talk about an upset, right? Probably everyone was expecting Trap to come out on top, but Time showing he's an incredibly tough opponent for anyone. Into the game, guys. Let's start it off. Here, in the top left-hand corner of Death Aura, is the blue Terran. He needs only 1 game out of 3 to advance into the finals. Can he do it right here, right now, with a full, clean sweep? It is Kaisi Gaming. Time! In the opposite corner, his opponent is instead in a much weaker position. And it's 3 victories in a row to get into the finals. Does he feel it? Can he do that? Or do you think Chad makes a noise for Trap? Honestly, if there is one map in which I feel like time is favored, it is this one. It has been chosen by Trap. It's a very, I'd say, standard map. In a sense, one of those maps we're going to miss once it's gone, because it was such a clean map, very well done. Everything was very well thought on this map. Very good for macro plays with 4 bases. Very easy to take, very easy to defend. But with a very aggressive path towards the natural of your opponent, with a ramp starting far away from the natural. That's where Terran players really strive. With easy to take 3 bases, a ramp to defend, and a ramp to attack into. Trap needs to do his best to stop time for going for one of his own aggressive plays. And Time is an incredibly good aggressive player, especially in this matchup. Stargate play didn't really cut it for Trap. Not really expecting him to go for that again. His Phoenix play was honestly quite weak. It is a Twilight Console, it is just a standard Blink opener, and it's probably for the best. With more defensive capabilities and a little bit more of proactive harassment potential, it can really set up the pace of the game a bit before Time takes over with a stronger production, and it needs to be the defensive side. Adept trying its best to get some scouting information. Ooh, starting off very soon with the Time production. Or is it a Cyclone for defense? It's a Cyclone. Alright. Trap wants to get something with his depths, wants to get a Hellion. Can he do that? Yes, he can. There is one Marine in the bunker, but these SCVs are in a little bit of a tough spot with just one Hellion to defend them. A bunch of them are actually going to fall. The Marine gets out of the bunker just to die to these Adepts, but it means that these Adepts are gonna take 2 SCVs, 1 Marine, and 1 Hellion at the price of just 1 Adept. Very good trade on the side of Trap, who's currently adding Blink and a Robo, ready to get some aggression of his own. He wants to set the pace of his game. He doesn't want his opponent to feel comfortable, and that's exactly what he needs to win these series. 3 times in a row though, that's a very tall order. No starport on the side of Time, a very quick third command center, and that's what I wanted to see out of him. Playing defensively, establishing the third base on a map on which is very easy to establish a third base without being actually uber contested. Trap doing the same, but it's not as valuable as a Terran player going through 3 Rex and a command center follow-up without being actually contested. There's a Robo facility, Robo base, sorry, coming right up, ready to try and match these economical prowess with a unit such as the Colossus, who can take such big value over time, as well as the Disruptors. But Time is going to establish himself with a very strong economy very quickly. And Trap needs to be proactive with his Stalkers, at least in this stage of the game. Absolutely, I agree. Tagara, Time playing incredibly good lately, and Trap really struggling actually to keep his chin up against these incredible Terran, who's now ready to get control of his ramp and get the third base up and running with a bunch of tanks. These Blink Stalkers trying to make their way past these tanks to get into the natural, and they will manage to do so. Now targeting down these SCVs, 4 of them can easily one-shot them. There is Blink to save these, getting out of range of the lock-on. He wants to get a little bit more before escaping 3 SCVs in a Marine. All beautiful trades on the side of Trap, but Time has this economical lead right now. Well, not really yet. He doesn't really have accomplished to match the workers that his opponent has, but it will be very soon. 2 more racks added into the mix. More of the upgrades that he needs to start off strong. Trap still making plays though. Still doing stuff. Getting the cyclone and 3 SCVs. These stalkers absolutely man-man plays on the side of Trap. So many SCVs falling. A plane backwards and a recall is gonna save all of them. Trap, just look at the units lost up. This has been an incredibly efficient game as far as trades have gone for the Protoss player. 12 SCVs dead by 7th minute mark with just 3 adepts and 4 stalkers, nothing else. Observers really making, really giving a lot of vision, a lot of value. This one is going to fall. But Trap has a very clear idea of what is happening, and he's gonna be adding a Dark Shrine to maybe start dealing some damage, maybe having some markings for defense. But with the Ghost Economy going up time, racing his opponent down in tech and in economy. Right now, I feel like the economy should be very close, and yes they are. Gas is exactly identical, minerals is very shifting considering mules exist. But Trap wants to deal a little bit more damage. He's setting up a play with this Word Prism. Yes, Charge at the ready. Yes, Blink at the ready. Yes, Extended Formal Lens at the ready. This is a very tough army for time to actually face. There's a bunch of tanks. It's all up to Micro right now. Word Prism adding more units while the rest of the Army of Time tries to clash on top of these beautiful force pits, locking so many Marines out of the range. 8 SCVs have been going down. These Colossi are just not falling. The 1 tank survives, dealing a lot of damage. It looks like Trap will be cleared in his aggressive attempt. But 10 SCVs will be killed by the Protoss player before he retreats to another position. 4 Dark Templars and 5 Zealots added to the mix. Another Colossus coming right on the left. And now Trap, full map control, full vision of what his opponent is up with his observer. There's only Ghosts without Shockwave EMP to stop him from absolutely destroying the army of his opponent. Can Trap cut it right here, right now? 3 Colossi right here at the ready, hitting at the mineral line. So many workers falling uncontestedly. The tank is getting in position, but already 11 SCVs have been killed. Blinking forward and then blinking backwards after getting a little bit of damage. Trap still keeps all of his units alive. Really snowballing this game. 2 Archons added into the mix as well. Ready to show them when he needs to. With a double expansion, Trap is going to go at 6 bases against 3. With a whopping 3 Colossi, 1 Disruptor, 10 Stalkers, 12 Zealots, and 2 Dark Templars army. Time setting up a strong army, but he can't really keep up with income with his opponent, I think. Once the 6 bases come in clutch, there will be very little time to replenish the lost forces, while Trap will have an incredibly powerful economy to back it off with lost trade. It looks like Time doesn't want to give his opponent the chance to do that. He's gonna try to engage right here on top of this zone. And look at his EMPs going. The whole of the army of Trap gets locked by these EMPs and gets absolutely destroyed by the DPS that Vikings, Marines and Marauders can deal. There is 1 Dark Templar lonely trying to deal damage. Of course these Dark Templars will get the missile turret. Is there a scan? Yes, there is. Time doesn't want to play this hand a little bit too forward. He takes the good trade and backs off. Good trade though, 16 SCVs down. And now, he's gonna pull them. He's gonna pull them into the battle. He wants to deal the finishing blow. Can he do that? There's so many Disruptors over here. First Disruption Nova doesn't get much. 17 SCVs dead back home. Meanwhile, more SCVs are joining this battle. One of the Disruptors very low on health. Second Disruption Nova doesn't get anything. It's going to be a very close one. That's a lot of Medivacs, but not much energy. Look at this Disruption Nova getting so many Disruptors. Meanwhile, the Liberators trying to siege up on everything. There's such a huge surround with the Zealots. Meanwhile, back home, 11 SCVs have been going down. Time needs to top out Trop. Takes game number 3 of this series. What a perfect game by Trop. So many efficient trades. He took a big fight when he knew that even losing some units wouldn't actually hurt him. And now, he's gonna put the series 2-1. He's gonna open these up again. And it's 2 in a row now. And this game has been absolutely, absurdly dominant on the side of Trop. We're going into game number 4, guys. It is going to be on Oxide. Once again, so many things can go wrong on this map very quickly. Let's see who comes out on top. Is it going to be a game number 5? Or is time going to be able to close the deal? Countdown has started. Countdown has also finished. We're going on Oxide. Alright, guys. Oops. The score is settled. We're here in the top right-hand corner, where the blue Terran is currently spawning. Playing for Kaiji Gaming. He needs 1 game out of 2 to make it into the finals. Can he do that? It is time! And here, in the bottom left, is where the red Protoss is currently spawning. 2 in a row, it's what he needs after winning the first game of the series before on Death Aura. Can he make it 2 in a row on Oxide? Can he make it 3 in a row maybe on Pillars of Gold? Can he win this series, guys? It is a freak of freaks trap. Time playing greatly, but it wasn't enough in the last game against such a careful player that is Trop. Rogue Scout is gonna be just a little bit obnoxious over here, direct and at the command center in the natural. Just gonna slow it down a little bit, not really by much. Oh. Yeah, here it comes. Marine first, followed by a Reaper. Again, very standard play, especially by time, who wants to still be proactive with his Reaper while keeping up with some defenses with the Marine. That's the way most players are playing nowadays in this matchup, which is honestly a very good develop from the previous ways this matchup was played, which was just a race between who gets the first Reaper, who gets the first Adept, while now it's most like who is able to standardize, I'd say, the game as fast as possible. It is a Twilight Council opener, again, most safe way, most proactive way. That's just the best way to play the matchup, honestly. And now, Time is gonna try to get some scouting information of his own. Oh, Reaper will survive, I think he will. Meanwhile, the Adept on the other side of the map actually getting 2 SCVs. Wasn't... Oh my, the command center was actually stopped. Ooh. Time slowed down on his track by quite a bit. That wasn't really a great way to start off the day for the Terran player. Oh, another SCV Very hurt. Can he go down? It doesn't go down, but the Adept is dead. Oh my god, it survives. 1 health. He gets into the natural and gets another SCVs. Oh, well, it's another Adept this time. Sorry. I was getting way too excited, but again, Trapped. Trading so efficiently. Just mesmerizing how efficiently Trapped can trade in this matchup, really. Getting so ahead, so quickly, without really doing much. 34 workers to 25. And a huge map control by saving all of his depths. Very quick Robo with a very quick 4 gateway follow-up. With Blink soon to be done and ready to get some even stronger map control capabilities. Now this alien cannot really get anywhere close in the base of Trap to get some scouting information. And is actually going to be trapped between a rock and a hard place. It's gonna be killed. Time loses yet another trade without getting anything back from it. Just look at this. This is absolutely mind-numbing. It's early in the game, so everything actually makes a difference. Time not really. Oh my goodness. These adepts go through, get a full scout before going down. But it's still full scout. He sees there's no for command center. He sees there's no real way Time can get too proactive right now with the starport producing a Raven. So he's gonna add up a third Nexus and just try to be as proactive as possible with his Blinkstalkers, which is actually a fair number of them. 9 is exactly what he needs. Actually, it's 10. And now he's gonna blink into the main, try to stop Steam, or maybe just go for the mineral line and force your opponent to tap out. I mean, it's the second time today I find myself a little bit dumbfounded by these GG timings. The first time, it was a good GG timing, yeah. Like, Armani couldn't do anything against the glaive play by Zess. But now, do I really feel like Time lost this game? I actually don't. The Raven was still out of harm's way. Steam was not going to be cancelled with actually the Stalkers focusing the mineral line. But I feel like Time was wanting to move out, it couldn't move out, and that was exactly what cut off his legs in that scenario. We're going to game number 5. Both players are winning 2 in a row. And now, it's impossible to make a prediction. 2 absurdly convincing victories from both sides. And now in game number 5 on Pillars of Gold, we're gonna see who's gonna face Zest into the finals. Twice in a row, we went to the last possible game of the series, right up into game number 5. Armani versus Zest first, Time versus Trap second. 4 incredibly short game in this series. But it's time to see who comes out on top, who gets into the finals. Is it going to be the player spawning in the bottom left hand corner as the Blue Terran? He plays for Kaisi Gaming. He won 2 in a row and then lost 2 in a row. Can he stop his opponent's momentum? It is Time. On the other side of the map, he can do with a reverse sweep by winning 3 in a row. Incredibly convincing performances in the last 2 games. Can he do that for the 3rd time? It is a freak of freaks, Trap. Again, a Marine first into possibly a Reaper second. There's nothing really out of the ordinary right now. I'm very curious to see if... yeah, exactly, Bitterwood. I'm very curious to see if Trap decides to go for some earlier Russ, like he did in the past 2 games, because that has been working incredibly great. Went for a Stargate. Oh, wow. The only game he went for Stargate, it was an absolute disaster for him. He decides to pull that out of his head once more. The Adept is making his way through. This time, both the Reaper and the Marine are ready to face him. Marine goes down. The Adept is ready to shift forward. The grenade stops him in his tracks. But this one Adept is gonna shade backwards because the bunker is now finished. This time, it looks like Trap wasn't able to absurdly destroy his opponent in an early trade. Just a Marine for free, not much more. Second Adept coming right up. Let's see what these shades can do. And honestly, they can actually do a lot. SCV is hiding behind the bunker. Meanwhile, once the shit's complete, it looks like the rest of the army of Time is gonna try and collapse on these few Adepts, which are going to just shade outside of harm's way. If it ain't broken, don't fix it. But Trap decided to fix it anyway. It's 3 Adepts pressure right now though. That's a lot of Adepts. A fresh mule just being issued. Look at these Marines go. And look at them win in the trade. Even just barely. The fresh mule goes down. A bunch of SCVs have been killed nonetheless. But so are 2 of the Adepts. Not a free trade this time. As you can see in the resources lost. Still an advantageous one. But are not that one-sided, as we've seen before. Trap not gonna go for a fast third. He's gonna go for a third at 430, I'd say. Not the fastest possible, not the slowest. He's gonna try to have some pressure with his Phoenixes before any actual defensive units can be made. There's no cycling in the making. There's one Raven, a very exposed Raven. Does the Raven go down? Another turret gets popped, but the Raven actually goes down. That's a beautiful play by Trap. Oh, he gladly loses that one Phoenix to get that Raven. That's a huge, huge catch by the Protoss player. Finally, we see a Cyclone for defense by Time, but Trap, he's already gaining way too much map control. Without that Raven to threaten him, he can go for easy kills right here in the middle line. Lifting up the Marines, being ready to face everything else. No Phoenix falls. And right now, another Marine gets lifted. Trap thinning down the numbers of the army of his opponent to be ready to get on with a finishing strike. Alright, Phoenix is eating in the main right now, lifting a couple SCVs, 3 of them actually gonna fall before heading outside of the main base of Time. And Time really struggling to keep up in workers, not really finding any way to establish a third. He's now trying to go for an aggressive play, trying to stay out of harm's way of the Phoenixes, but the Phoenix is actually catching. It has to be a fast Cyclone lock-on, getting one of the Phoenixes, with the whole attack of Time being scouted by his opponent. What does Trap have for defense? Time sees that with this alien, the Cyclone gets another lock-on on another Phoenix. Phoenix is very bruised. There is one tank, a bunch of Marines, no SCVs pulled with this, but more units are making their way. Right now, the Phoenix have been lifting the tank, but also one of them actually died. More lock-ons can be cancelled by these Phoenix's energy. Meanwhile, Shield Body Overcharge keeps all these units topped off. Adepts and Stalkers still hanging numbers to defeat the army of Time. These Medivacs very bruised but still alive, while the tanks keep everything out of arm's range of these Marines. Medivacs still have enough energy to actually do anything that they can. Marines currently getting on top of this Nexus. If this Nexus goes down, it's gonna be huge troubles. The Phoenixes dive on top of the tanks, getting 1 lift off, getting 2 lift off, getting 3 lift off, but all of them actually dies about 1. Marines fighting with the rest of the army. No more Medivacs energy to face this. All of the tanks have been falling down about 7. Prods have been pulled into this defense as well. Time retreats back home. This time, he gets the aggression he wants to and resets the game to a stage he feels more comfortable with, adding up a third, getting a huge trade, getting 7 Phoenixes, stopping the whole pressure that Trap was doing in just a sweep with his, I think it was like 12 Marines, not even more than that, saving most of those. Beautiful play by Time. But Trap is not out of this by any means. All Time did was bring the game to an even situation. This game is still anyone's to win. And now 4 Phoenixes have been made. The 5th one is soon to come. And Trap is establishing the tech pieces he needs. Time still needs to play a little bit more of the defensive playstyle with no Cyclone. He wants to go for the aggression. Ooh, that's a spooky situation. These Phoenixes need to keep their energy up, because these tanks can be absolutely obnoxious, especially with the SCVs repairing. Good scouting by Trap with the Adept in the middle of the map. Phoenix is trying to get around, but there's way too many Marines to greet them. Steam is at the ready. There's a lot of energy on these medivacs. The attack can start and tanks are sieging up to keep these units away from the Marines. Marines steaming forward with the SCVs tanking all the damage they can. The Phoenix is diving on top of these tanks. The Marines need to focus down these Phoenixes, but all of the tanks are falling one after the other. Stalkers focusing down on them. One of the tanks barely survives with 1 health. Is it going to be enough to close the deal? 9 SCVs have fallen into this attack. The whole bulk of the SCVs have gone down. 1 tank very bruised, the other 2 gets lifted. No more AoE damage. 1 tank goes down, and the other 2 are still alive. This one still has 1 health. It finally goes down as well, but Time has been defeated in the ground army of Trap, and now he's hitting the Nexus, replenishing his forces. Relentless attack by Time, and Trap doesn't have the pieces to stop this. Phoenix play once again doesn't work out in his favor. Trap sent back on scattering. There is 2 Archons in the making, but his 2 tanks have no current right now. These rest of the units trying to keep up with keeping the reinforcers out of these medivacs, out of energy. Can these 4 Archons cut the deal against 2 tanks and these many Marines, the rest of the army, trying to send off these 2 Stalkers and 2 Phoenixes, trying to keep it up? We're killing the reinforcements. The Archons get on top of the tanks. The Marines trying to cut backwards, but there's no more energy on these medivacs. The damage has been standing on the side of Time, and finally he manages to break past the defenses of his opponent. Time is going to be your second finalist of Trovo Weekly number 25.